You know, I just thought that if Taylor Swift is gonna go wear her jean jacket with all of her pins and stuff, I might as well wear mine. Like on Twitter, my friend sent me that tweet with the cover of Taylor Swift on the magazine with the jacket with all the buttons. Like, Stephanie, is this you? Hi, welcome back to the channel. If you don't know my face and you're new here, welcome. Hello, my name is Stephanie Jean. This is my channel where I like to talk about stuff on the internet. Today we are meeting up for another little group chat. We're talking about dealing with discouragement. Now that, discouragement sucks, doesn't it? Like, ugh. Now, before I get too far into the video, I want to remind you guys that JuneTube is coming up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell icon. I don't know where it is. It's down there somewhere. You can be in the know. I think it's important to recognize that discouragement can come from a lot of different places. You can feel discouraged both internally, externally, directly, and indirectly. A form of direct discouragement, direct external discouragement, could come from a mentor, an employer, coworker, a friend. In the age of the modern internet, it could come from literally a stranger. Sometimes they have very valid reasons, you know, maybe they're just worried about you, or they could have just mean reasons and just be a jerk. Those people suck. Don't be those people. I think that internal discouragement, for me at least, comes from a place of self-doubt and insecurity, and sometimes just anxiety and depression, if I'm being completely honest. I might feel as though you aren't doing anything with your life, as if what you are doing with your life isn't good enough, it's not meeting the standards that you have set for yourself, and that can be a discouragement as well. I really want to pursue creative living and a career that is based off of creative living, because it's just what's important to me. I'm currently still working on the first draft of a novel project. It's like every single day for the last week, I would sit down at my computer and I would pull up the document and I would start writing, and I would get about 300 words in and suddenly I had no idea what was happening, where to go. I knew I needed to get my characters to a certain point, but I didn't know how to get them there. And I felt so discouraged because here I am trying to literally make something up and I can't do it. And so I'd get all down on myself. I try and push through it, or alternatively, on some days, there are days where I don't push through it and I just say, whatever, and I go lay on the couch, watch Netflix, and play video games. I mean, this is why it's taken me about a year to get this far in my draft, and I'm not even halfway done with it yet. And another example is with theater, and you go to an audition, you feel like you might not be worth it to get the role, you kind of have this doubt or insecurity, and when you don't get the role, it really hits you harder. It's a discouragement to keep going forward, because it's almost reaffirming the negativity you already had. And that's not necessarily saying it's true. Not everything is a sign, okay? Or if we go back to the book, there is a very good chance that even when this novel is completely done and I've gone through beta readers and it's been edited and revised and I start querying, there is a very, very good chance that it will never be published. Why? Because this is the first book I've ever written, and it's very unlikely, as in it is a 1 in a million chance that I will get my first book published. And at the beginning of this process, I was getting kind of overwhelmed and worried that my book would never be published, and that if my book wasn't published, it was a direct result of me not being good enough. And it was almost like my mind was discouraging me preemptively from a rejection letter that I hadn't even gotten yet. So, how do we deal with that discouragement? Well, one of the things that you can do in the moment, for me at least, I try and remove myself from the situation. A lot of times when I feel discouraged, or as my dad would like to say, have failed expectations, A lot of times that that's happening, it's my ego that is being wounded. If you feel like you're being attacked with discouragement, you're going to want to put up a defense. Chill. That is my first piece of advice, is to just chill. You need to be able to remove yourself from the situation. Remove yourself from the situation and analyze the information on a base level, as if it was happening to someone else, as if it was about something else, something similar. So if you're being discouraged by your parents about the job you want to pursue, remove yourself from it, remove your parents from it. Think about a parental figure talking to a child figure about a career. You know, take the details out, put in variables, and see if the situation or the advice still holds. Another thing that you can do, and this would be more after the fact, maybe that night or later that day or the next day, is to journal through your frustrations. Discouragement can make me. Discouragement often makes me feel frustrated, almost angry. I feel like a disappointment. I feel depressed. I feel it's scary. For me, having a journal, this journal, as you can see, I write in it a lot. Writing in your journal is going to help you. If you don't have a physical journal like this, you have a phone, maybe. If you have your phone, you probably have a place where you can type on it. You can just type it out. A lot of times I think, especially now with social media, a lot of times people will turn to social media and do posts about other people. They'll drag people through the mud online. You don't need to do all that. If you would just journal, you wouldn't need to do any of that. I guess the last thing that you can do is just try and stay encouraged. Find some videos on YouTube, some podcasts, maybe a book, some music that will inspire you and push you and make you sit up straighter, and something that means something to you. It's also really good to have a support group. I mean, my husband is the first person I want to talk to whenever I have encouragement or discouragement. Wherever I am on the spectrum, I want to share it with him. Unfortunately, I can't always do that because of his career, because he's deployed right now. I can't always just text him and, one, have him be awake because he's in another time zone, and two, have him be able to respond because he's working. So having one person that you rely on is really, really good, obviously. But you need more than that, because if that one person is unavailable, you're going to need to talk to someone, right? So I will turn next to one of my friends. I suggest that you have 2 to 3, maybe 4 people that you're really close to. I mean, if you want to take an example from the Bible, Jesus had his 12 disciples, right? And he had all those people he could talk to, but then he had like even a closer knit inside of that group that he would talk to. So in any situation ever, having people to turn to is the most important thing. And if you don't have friends that you can trust like that, I mean, hey, you can connect with me on social media and you can talk to me. Why not? This last piece of advice is, if you're feeling discouraged because you have perceived something as a failure, learn to breathe and then begin again. Because let's go back to the audition example. If you go into an audition and you don't get the part and you perceive that as a failure, the best thing you can do is to take a step back, take a deep breath, and go do it again. Because there's always going to be more opportunities. You don't have to get so stuck. It can be kind of tempting to get stuck if you're discouraged. But just know that if you do, it won't make anything better. Okay, I think that's everything for this video. Do I have an outro? I don't have an outro. I hope you guys stay encouraged, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.